Hello everybody, it's Lion from LionBricks.com. This is a Porsche Cayman GT4. It's based off of a design by Jonathan Elliott, who makes really awesome LEGO vehicles. If you're interested in seeing his original and all of his awesome designs, then go ahead and click the link in the description to his Flickr page, as that is where I found this original design. However, I did decide to customize it and make it my own, mainly being I decided to transform this into a 7 wide vehicle. I like building my vehicles 7 studs wide because it allows for 2 minifigures to fit inside, and I also feel like it's a much more realistically proportionate build in comparison to the minifigures. This design, however, is a slight exception, as it does only allow for 1 minifigure to fit inside. I would have liked to make the main windshield 5 studs wide, but unfortunately LEGO does not make their windshields in that dimension, so I decided to settle with the 4 wide design, which means it is a little bit disproportionate, but to be honest it still looks pretty good. And unfortunately, because of the way I designed the doors, I couldn't actually fit an entire minifigure inside anyways, so what you're looking at there is actually a minifigure's severed head. But yeah, to be honest, in my opinion the design of the car is far more important, and sometimes you just can't design it in a way that allows for minifigures to fit inside, especially when you're trying to achieve all kinds of different shapes. So yeah, let's take a look at some of the details that we've got in this build. One of my favourites, which I think really makes this stand out from a lot of other vehicles that I've seen, is the headlights on the front. These parts are just fitted on with some clips, and I really like how the cheese wedge manages to fill in the gap perfectly. It makes a very seamless design, and I just think it's probably one of the more realistic ways of adding these really nice lights towards the front. I think one of the things that makes this car really interesting is all of the shapes, and for the front of the vehicle it's pretty much just made up of lots of slopes and a bunch of cheese wedges as well. I did highlight a couple of cheese wedges towards the bottom that are in black, and this is for where a future custom printed number plate is going to be going. I also added one of these sections towards the back with just a 1x3 tile. I actually really love the back. I think it has a really nice clean design, and of course I've got the 2 headlights back there, and then once again it's mostly just made up of all of these really nice slopes that add a lot of shape. I've also used some 1x1 bricks with studs on 2 sides, which allows me to place a portion of the back side of the vehicle actually upside down, and it also allows me to fit on the small cheese wedges that fill in the gap right next to the wheel, which once again makes this nice and clean. But I think one of the most awesome features is the spoiler. This is a very standard build, but I think the neck brackets really give it a nice detail, and yeah, I think it really completes the build. I was talking about the doors a little bit earlier. The unique thing about the side of the vehicle here is that I wanted to slant one of the tiles inwards just a little bit to create this really nice shape, as I think you'll see in quite a lot of sports vehicles. And the way I did this was quite simply by placing one side of the tile fully down on one side and then just leaving it up on the other side pretty much. But in order to do that I had to make it a 2 brick wide section that I fit on with studs on the side, and that meant that I was only left with 3 studs in the centre, and that is where the minifigure ended up going. Since there's quite a large gap between the windshield and the side of the car, the mirrors are actually just placed on top, and those are quite simply some pizza slices in black. The windshield itself is a standard 1 brick part designed by LEGO of course, but the rest of it that sort of slants down towards the back of the vehicle is made up of a bunch of trans black parts. I've got a brick in there, a tile, and then I also used a cheese wedge as the very last 2 high section, since obviously it's a lot better than using 2 plates since it doesn't have that dividing line in between, and it creates for a nice smooth transition. I've got a couple of slopes on top, and then if you take a look at the wheels, they're pretty much your standard mud guards, and then I've also got some of the Speed Champion wheels here. These are pretty standard, you'll see these in most vehicles nowadays, and they're just fitted on with a couple of modified plates that have these sort of pin connections on, and the wheels are fitted on with pins. They would rotate, however when you place these mud guards on top it's such a snug fit that they don't actually spin. which is kind of a win and a lose. For me it's a bit of a win-win because I want to place this in my city, and it means I can place it on areas where I have a sloped road and it won't roll around, which is perfect for me. In the future I would like to round off the very bottom of the vehicle at the front, since I think it looks a little bit rickety at the moment, but otherwise that pretty much does it for this vehicle. I think it looks really great, especially from all angles. This is a vehicle that you can look at from any angle and I think it just looks absolutely fantastic. So once again, a shout out to Jonathan Elliott. Go ahead and check out his Flickr, he makes some really awesome builds, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, feel free to let me know what you think down in the comment section below, and feel free to ask me any questions, and until next time, thanks for watching.